Hello, and in this part 2 IELTS speaking video, I'm going to look at the topic, describe a time you solved a problem through the internet. You should say when and what it was, how you solved this problem, how long it took to solve the problem, and explain how you felt about it. To be perfectly honest, I think I use the internet on a daily basis to solve one problem or another. I cannot imagine life without it, because as soon as I am struggling with anything, I turn to the internet for help. I recently bought a new computer, and when I set it up, everything was working fine, until I tried to print a document, and a box appeared on the screen which said, "Unable to find printer." I've had the printer for a good few years, and I couldn't find the instructions that came with the printer when I bought it. I consider myself to be computer literate, but everything I tried didn't work, and I was becoming increasingly exasperated. After half an hour of connecting and reconnecting the printer to the PC, it was still not working, so I went on YouTube. Within a couple of minutes, I found a video of someone explaining how to connect my make and model of printer to a computer. The video was great, to the point, no waffle, and really easy to follow. Although the internet, and in particular YouTube, is great, sometimes you need to watch loads of nonsense before they get to the bit that is useful. I have even watched many videos and got to the end, and I still didn't know how to resolve the problem. Anyway, like I said, this video had the solution to the problem, and I followed it step by step, pausing it between each stage, and within a couple of minutes the printer was working. In the past, in the dark ages before the internet was invented, I don't know what we did to solve problems. I guess you always had to get someone else to do it for you, whereas now you can fix many things yourself, and to be honest, this is a godsend. So let's take a look at some of the language in this video. On a daily basis, this is quite formal, you can use it in writing as well. It just means every day. You can say on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, on an annual basis, which means yearly. So very useful for both speaking and writing. I cannot imagine life without it. Just a phrase to say, I need the internet so much. I cannot imagine life without it. Because as soon as, instead of using when all the time, I am struggling with anything. So very useful for many topics where you're describing a time. The verb to struggle, which means to have difficulties with anything. And you can use it in writing as well. Governments around the world are struggling to find a solution for climate change. So a really useful verb to struggle, to find things difficult. I turn to the internet for help. If you turn to something or someone for help, you're basically asking them for help. When you have anything, any equipment, you set it up, and it means to get everything ready and to start using it. Remember always to try to use past continuous because it's a tense that will really impress the IELTS examiner. And when you're describing a time when, the past continuous is really useful. So if you're not comfortable with using it, I recommend you go and watch a few videos on the past continuous. Everything was working fine. Another tense that IELTS examiners love is the present perfect, because a lot of IELTS candidates forget to use it or do not use it correctly. So for something that started in the past and continues in the present. I still have the printer, but I got it in the past. I've had the printer for a good few years. A good few years means quite a number of years. So the instructions, the things that tell you how to use it. I consider myself to be computer literate. To consider yourself means you think you are, and computer literate means a person who is able to use a computer quite well. I was becoming another past continuous. Increasingly, so more. Exasperated. Now that's quite a difficult word to say, and it means annoyed, frustrated, angry. You can use any of these. I put them all in because they're quite difficult to say, these first two. Exasperated, infuriated. Infuriated means very, very annoyed. But if you struggle with those, just use annoyed, which is fine. So after an hour of connecting and reconnecting, IELTS speaking, you need to have a range of vocabulary. And the more words that you can use, the better. I always think if you can impress with lexical resource, and this was the case when I was an IELTS examiner, if your lexical resource is really good, the IELTS examiner wants to give you a higher band score, even if your grammar isn't as good. So really focus on learning as much vocabulary as possible. Connecting, reconnecting. But it was still not working. And so here we're adding to the lexical resource the make and model of the printer. So the make is like HP, and the model is the particular type of printer, like I don't know what printer names are off the top of my head. So make and model of printer. The video was great, to the point. If something is to the point, they're not talking about unnecessary things. They are getting to the point, the most important part. And you may be wondering why I have this picture of a waffle. We say no waffle. When somebody is waffling, this is a verb and a noun, to waffle. And it means to talk about a lot of unnecessary things. So if I started talking now about all the band scores, and in order to get a 5 you need this, and in order to get a 6 you need this, and you already know that, but I'm just saying it to make my YouTube video longer, to make you watch for longer, to try and get some more money from advertising, this is called waffle. So YouTube videos often have a lot of waffle at the start and at the end to just make them longer. And that's what I'm talking about here. And we use the word waffle, and this is an example of a waffle. So although the internet, and in particular, particularly, especially, these are very useful words when you're giving examples, you need to watch loads of nonsense. And this is another word for waffle. A lot of nonsense, a lot of stupid, irrelevant things. To resolve the problem. So it's all about resolving a problem, and you can use to solve a problem or resolve a problem, and they basically have the same meaning. So try to use both. Anyway, like I said, very useful little filler phrase when you're maybe repeating something that you've already said. The solution. So we've got to solve is the verb, the solution is the noun. And to follow it step by step. So somebody's giving you a process and you follow it step by step. And instead of repeating step, I've used stage here. In the Dark Ages. Now, the internet and computers were not invented in the Dark Ages. The Dark Ages is from the 5th century to the 15th century, but I'm saying this to exaggerate here. In the Dark Ages before the internet was invented. This is a godsend. A godsend is a wonderful thing that really helps you in some way. So personally, I think the internet is a godsend. Washing machines are a godsend. Dishwashers are a godsend. So something that you think is absolutely fantastic and it makes your life easier is a godsend. It's basically saying it's something that's been sent by God to make your life better. So a really good idiomatic word there to end on. So this is the point where you all switch off, because now I'm going to waffle, but please like us, please subscribe to our channel, please leave comments, please share this video. The more our channel grows, the more videos we'll be able to provide for IELTS candidates. I really hope you found this video useful. Thank you for watching. So I'm just going to look at one part 3 question now connected with this topic. Do you think many people waste their time online? Oh, absolutely. 100% yes. People go online to look for one thing and several hours later they're stuck in an internet wormhole. Going down an internet wormhole is utterly addictive. Many find it impossible to get up and walk away because the internet is intoxicating. So, do you think questions? And if you agree, then don't just go, yes, I think many people waste their time online, because you're not adding anything new. You're not using any new vocabulary. Oh, absolutely, 100% yes. If you think the opposite, oh no, absolutely not, 100% no. People go online to look for one thing and several hours later they're stuck in an internet wormhole. This is a wormhole where people believe that if you go into a wormhole you're taken into another world, another dimension. And this happens on the internet. You start looking at one thing and then you're in an internet wormhole and you cannot get out of it. You've probably guessed through watching my videos, I'm a massive fan of the Korean group BTS. And when I first found BTS, I got in an internet wormhole. I just went online to find out their names, and then 5 hours later, I was watching video after video after video. And this is a famous singer, Maren Morris, and she had the same experience. And she says, honestly lost in a BTS wormhole and don't want to get out. So it's when you go online and you start looking at one thing and 5 hours later you're still looking at things connected with this topic, and you're just going from YouTube to Wikipedia to Googling things, and you cannot get out of this wormhole. This is really complex vocabulary. This is really good stuff that will impress the IELTS examiner. So if you get any topic connected with internet, then certainly try to use the phrase an internet wormhole. It's addictive, something that you cannot stop doing. And instead of saying very, I said utterly, meaning completely. The internet is intoxicating. If something is intoxicating, it's like a drug. It's like alcohol. You want more of it and you're addicted to it. So really complex vocabulary, but really, really useful for this topic. Thank you very much for watching.